Hello, beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back to Alexis Faye Yoga. I'm so very glad that you've decided to join me today. Today we are doing a slow, strong, and methodical yoga flow that includes quite a bit of balance poses. So if that feels good, if that sounds good to you today, hit that like and subscribe button down below. Roll out your mat and we'll hop into it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. Stay firm. Sending that right foot back. We'll begin our class today down on our mats in a Shavasana or a corpse pose. Finding a comfortable place to rest, place to close the eyes, and bring our attention into our body, and bring our thoughts to our breath. We'll bring large breaths in through the nose. Fill the abdomen with air. And let the breath go again. Letting go of any thoughts from our day, any worry or any stress that we've been holding on to. It'll always be there later to come back to. But for now, we can let it go. Let the body be soft towards the floor. With our next in-breath, we'll circle the arms up to the ceiling. Full body stretch. Reaching with the fingers and pointing and reaching with the toes. Taking up space. Exhale, we'll slide the elbows down alongside the shoulders for our cactus pose. Pressing the elbows and the wrists towards the floor. And we'll circle the arms the rest of the way down towards the body as we walk the bottoms of the feet in. Now making sure we're nice and flat to the floor by rolling the hips forward. We'll heel toe the feet out a little wider and find a little windshield wipering back and forth with the knees. We'll take the knees back up to the ceiling. And we'll lift the legs up for our reverse process. Now we can hold the legs here if that is helpful to you today, or we could take the arms up as well. We'll circle the wrists and the ankles out. Now we're gonna have to say goodbye to our kitty friend. Goodbye, Kuweras. As we draw our left knee down to the chest, we're very slowly going to let the right leg drift down to the floor, like a newly fallen leaf. Give that left knee a nice big squeeze to the chest. And we'll move to a gentle twist, guiding our left knee over to our right side. Watch out, kitty. We'll reach the left arm out from the shoulder, and the eyes can stay up to the ceiling, or they can follow that left hand. And we'll slow roll back to the mat. Another big squeeze to our left leg. We'll reach our left leg up to the ceiling and bring our right leg up. Now drop the right knee down to the chest. And again, we're going to slowly droop the left leg until it's all the way down in front of the body. Nice big squeeze to our right. And then we'll guide that right knee over our left side. Gentle twist on this side. The right arm moves out from the shoulder and the eyes can stay up, or they can follow that right hand. And we'll slow roll back to center again. Another big hug to our right. Before we extend our right leg up to the ceiling, and then bring the left up as well. Now we're going to move to either our happy baby by taking our knees past our rib cages, grabbing the outsides of our feet, or wrapping our hands around our big toes, gently pulling down towards the floor. Or we can move to a plow pose, if you would rather, where we will lift the hips up off the mat. Use the arms at the small of the back to help control, and drop the toes behind the head. Now, whichever variation we are in, we'll bring our knees back over our chest and roll into a tight ball, hugging the legs in with the arms, lifting chin to chest so the back of the head is up off the mat, and we'll rock side to side. Or maybe rock a little forward and back. Now we're going to make our way to standing from here, so we can either roll all the way onto one side and use the arms to lift us up, or we can rock and roll forward and back until we land on our feet and pop up to standing from there. Making our way to our Tadasana, bringing ankles under knees, under hips. We'll lift the shoulders up to the ears. We'll work them back and down the spine. Rotate the pinky fingers forward so our shoulder blades are back and together. And we'll gently pull the chin over the chest so we're stacking our spine. Closing the eyes, we'll take a few deep breaths here as we start to ground down through the floor. Spreading our toes out wide so we can really press into the earth to find our stability for our balance poses. With our in breath, we'll circle the arms up overhead, reach it tall to the ceiling. Exhale, we'll sweep the arms out to our sides as we bow the chest forward. Inhale for a halfway lift, lengthening out through the spine. And with our exhale, we'll fold again. Nodding the head, yes. Shaking the head, no. Wiggling out through the body. We'll find that breath again with our next inhale, halfway lift, reach long. Exhale to fold. And we'll let the arms droop straight down from the shoulders. We'll let the head be heavy and loose. And we're going to roll up our spine, starting at the lowest point of the spine, down by the hips. And we'll roll one vertebrae up past the next, really taking our time. And lifting the shoulders, and then the head and neck last. Find a few shoulder rolls at the top. And with an in-breath, we'll circle the arms up. Exhale to slide the elbows down, cactusing the arms long across the collarbones. And we'll find a baby back bend. Moving the eyes forward again, reaching the arms up. And we'll bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive the arms. And we'll lift us up onto our left leg. So we're bringing our right knee up in front of the body as we reach towards the ceiling. Pausing here and lifting with that right knee. And then we're going to open our hips. So our right knee will move open or out to our right side. And we'll move to a tree pose from here. Now your tree pose can have roots. You can have your big toe down on the floor if that is helpful to your balance today. We can have hands on hips. We can have hands at heart center. Or we can keep the arms up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to focus on our left foot. Noticing all the little micro adjustments that it does to keep us balanced. Really press down through the toes. And then we're going to open just a little bit further through the hips. So right knee and left shoulder, we're going to think further apart, a longer diagonal. So we're pulling the left shoulder back and the right knee away. All right, we are going to remove the right foot from the left leg, but keep the knee out to the side. Keep the hip open. And then we'll close the hip. Bring the right knee out in front of the body. Lift it up tall. Now we're going to hinge from the waist. So the upper body comes forward out in front, like we're bowing the chest. We'll extend our right leg back as we do so and move to our warrior three. Press back through the right heel And we can airplane the arms behind us, or we can keep them at heart center. Still paying attention to what that left leg, that left foot is doing for us. Good. With our inhale, we'll lift up from the chest and bring the right leg down beside the left. Wiggle out. With our in-breath, reach tall to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive the arms, moving us onto our right leg. Pick up the left as we reach towards the ceiling. Reaching high with that left knee. And we're going to open the hip. So our left knee will pivot out to our side. And we'll move to our tree pose, bringing the bottom of the left foot to our right leg. Noticing the bottom of our right foot, press down through the toes. And then we'll open a little further from the hip. So our left knee and our right shoulder, we're going to move them away from each other. Draw the right shoulder back and press back with the left knee. Okay, we're going to remove the bottom of the left foot from the right leg. And then we'll close the hip, take the left knee out in front, reach the knee towards the ceiling. And we'll start to hinge from the waist, pressing our heel back behind as we soften the chest forward. Warrior 3. And we'll lift up from the chest. Step the left foot down and wiggle it out. With our next inhale, we'll reach tall to the ceiling. Exhale, cactus the arms. Pull the shoulder blades into the spine, maybe a baby back bend. Or we can keep the eyes forward. Inhale back to center, reach the arms to the ceiling. We'll sweep the arms out to our sides, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We'll plant the hands down, step, hop, or float back to your plank. Spread the fingertips out nice and wide. We'll shift forward. Squeeze the elbows in as we chaturanga to our up dog or our cobra. And then we'll send the hips up and back, down dog. Pedal it out. We'll pick up our left leg, press it up and back behind, and we'll circle the ankle out one way. And around in the other. Now we're going to bend our knee with our closed hip, drop the knee towards the floor, and then we'll open our hips by taking our left knee out to our side. Close the hip, and we'll press the bottom of our left foot forward and step it down. Full breath in. Even larger breath back out. Drop the right knee to the mat. Untuck the toes. Inhale. Lift the chest and the arms up. And with our exhale, we'll send the hips forward for that low lunge. We'll take our left arm and wrap it around our right wrist. Now we'll pull the right wrist over to the left side of our mat. Inhale, move back through center. We'll cactus the arms and maybe find a baby back bend. Shifting forward again, reach the arms up to the ceiling, and we'll bring our right hand down beside our left foot. Left arm up, gentle twist. Exhale, we'll bring that left hand around. Frame out our front foot. Now we'll take the eyes about 1 foot to 2 feet out in front of our left toes. As we tuck our right toes under, pick up the right leg. And we're going to pop us up onto our left. Float the right leg back behind. Now we can keep quite a bit of a bend to the leg so we can keep the hands down to the floor. Or we can lift up a little higher as we move to our warrior 3. Good, lifting from the chest. And bring the right leg down, wiggle out. Inhale, reaching tall to the ceiling. Exhale, we'll hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands down, step or hop the feet back, plank pose. Shift forward, chaturanga to our up dog or cobra. And to our down dog. Wiggle out some more. And then we'll pick up our right leg, press it up and back behind. Circle the ankle out in one direction. And around in the other. We'll bend at the knee, drop the knee towards the floor, and then we'll open the hip by taking our right knee out to our side. Close the hip, and we'll step that right foot to the top of our mat. Full breath in. Even larger breath back out. Drop the left knee. Inhale, circle the chest up. Low lunge. Now we'll grab for our left wrist with our right hand and reach the left hand towards our right side. Back through center, exhale, cactus the arms. And we can lift the chest or we can keep the chest forward. Inhale to reach back up. Exhale, left hand plants beside the right. And we'll reach the right up, gentle twist. Exhale, circle the right around, frame out your right foot, tuck your left toes, shift forward onto the right, warrior 3. And we'll bring the left foot up, step it down and wiggle it out. Back to the top of our mat again. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands down, step, hop, or float back to our plank. Spread the fingertips out wide. Shift forward, chaturanga, to our up dog or our cobra. And to our down dog. We'll pick up our left leg, send it up and back behind. We'll draw the knee to the nose, rolling through the spine as we shift forward and step the left foot to the top of our mat. Again, full breath in. Even larger breath back out. We're going to stay up on both feet this time. Inhale, crescent lunge. Pressing down through our left leg to take it towards straight. We'll drop our right heel down at a 45-degree angle away from the top of our mat. With our exhale, press the hips back behind as you reach the arms out in front of the mat. Slow hinge to your left leg, pyramid pose. Now we can float back up the way we came with the nice straight front leg, or we can add the bend back in, which will be a little gentler on your back. As we move back to that crescent lunge, pivot the foot around and soften the hips, bending into our front knee. With our inhale, we'll lift a little taller. So we're lifting both heels up off of the floor. We're balancing on our toes. And then we'll pivot open towards our right side for our warrior two. Feet are perpendicular. We're rolling towards the pinky toe of our left foot. And we're finding our breath again. Taking a couple big breaths in and back out. Finding our breath pace. And then with our next inhale, we'll circle our left arm up and over towards the back of our mat. With our exhale, we'll bring our right hand up and over towards the front of our mat. And we'll move back and forth with our dancing warriors. And back to our neutral warrior two again. Reaching forward and back. We're stacking the top of our head over our hips. We're rolling the hips forward and pressing out with our front knee. Now we'll inchworm that front foot a little further towards the top of our mat so we can soften a little deeper into this pose. Now we're going to pause here. Continuing to breathe as we build strength through our stillness, through our resilience. Good. We'll press down through the left leg and pick up our left toes. Give them a wiggle and out. Before we pivot them to match our back toes, feet are parallel. Reaching tall through the spine, and with our exhale, we'll swan dive forward to our wide-legged forward fold. Nodding the head yes, and shaking the head no. We'll find a way to play around in this pose. We can find a sway to the upper body, or we can walk the hands back and forth between the feet. Now we'll bring our left hand underneath of our chest. If your knees are talking to you, pivot your toes out further than your heels. So bring your heels in a little closer. That'll help you bend a little more through the knees. And with our in-breath, we'll circle our right arm up towards the ceiling for a gentle twist. Exhale, bring the right hand down, replace the left. Inhale, left arm reaches up. Exhale, back through center. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And we'll start to heel toe the feet in. But we're going to bring them in only half of the distance from our wide-legged forward fold to our normal forward fold. We're keeping the heels in and the toes to point away. And we're going to drop the hips down between the legs as we move into our Malasana squat or our yogi squat. Now it may be helpful to sit on a block or a pillow if this is your first Malasana squat, or if you're just feeling a little tight in your ankles or your hips today. We can use the elbows and the hands to press the knees apart to help with the balance. And we'll drop the hands down in front of the body. Now, if you like to play around in your crow pose, you can shift forward and move into that pose from here. Or we can just press forward into the hands, lift the hips and legs towards straight, and move to our forward fold. With our next inhale, we'll halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Dropping the top of the head and the arms down. We'll wiggle the upper body out so that it can droop and be heavy. We'll roll one vertebrae up past the next. Making our way back to standing, taking our time. We'll lift the shoulders and the top of the head last, rolling out through the spine. And wiggle it out. We'll move back towards the top of our mat. With an in-breath, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands down, step or hop the feet back. Plank pose. Chaturanga to our up dog or our cobra. To our down dog. Pedal it out. And we'll send our right leg up and back behind. We'll lead with the knee, draw knee to nose, round up towards the top of our mat as we step our right foot down. Full breath in. Even larger breath back out. Pressing into both feet as we lift the upper body up for our crescent lunge. We'll lengthen out through our right leg and drop our left heel down. Hips come back around towards the top of our mat. Reach the hips back as we lengthen the arms out in front. And slowly bow forward towards our right leg pyramid pose. Again, we can reverse out with our straight leg, or we can add the bend back in first, and then move to our crescent lunge. We'll lift up onto the toes of both feet, lifting the heels off the mat. And then rotating and opening up to our left side. Warrior two. Feet are perpendicular. We're pressing out with the pinky side of our foot. Our right knee is pressing back. Even weight through both feet. And we're looking for that breath again. Couple big breaths in and back out. Once we find our pace again with our in-breath, we'll reach up and over to the back of our mat. Exhale, cartwheel the arm, bring the back arm to the front of our mat. And we'll move back and forth, dancing warriors. And back to our neutral warrior two. Now we're going to inch that front foot just a little further out so we can soften a little deeper into this pose. Feeling the outer glutes and the inner thighs working to hold us strong and stable here. Good, we'll press down through our front leg. Pick up your right toes, give them a wiggle and out. And then we'll pivot to our side mat again. This time we're bringing heels in towards center and toes point away from the top of our mat or from the side of our mat. We'll tuck the hips forward and squeeze the glutes so we're stacked over our spine. And then we're going to drop the hips straight down. bending through the knees and pulling back on the knees as we move to our goddess pose or our crab pose. Now you can find a little sway side to side here, or you can find a little Pilates bounce here, a little pulse. And we'll move back through center and soften just a little bit lower. Still scooping the hips forward so we're not sticking the tailbone back behind us, but we're tall through the upper body. Good. We'll lengthen out through both legs. We'll open the arms out, lift the eyes and the chest, and wiggle out in our star pose. Letting the arms come down to our sides as we start to heel toe the feet back in. And to the top of our mat we go again. With an inhale, we'll lift tall. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands down, step, hop, or float back to your plank. Shift forward, chaturanga, to our up dog or our cobra. And we'll send the hips up and back, down dog. Wiggle it out, swivel the hips, pedal the legs. And then we'll slide the hands one hand's distance back towards the toes. You'll add a little more bend to the knees to really send the tailbone up and back behind us. Now we'll start shifting forward so the shoulders are over the wrists. And we'll hover the knees over the mat in our floating tabletop pose. We'll drop the knees the rest of the way down, untuck the toes. Inhale, press the chest forward and the eyes go up. Exhale, curl in towards center. Chin to chest and tailbone under, arch up through the mid-spine. And we'll move back and forth with our cat-cow poses. Good, back to that tabletop. And we'll take our knees out towards the outer edges of the mat. And bring the toes in to touch. We'll slide the left hand underneath of the chest. And with our in-breath, reach the right arm up. And then we'll thread that right arm as far to our left side as we can, as we bring shoulder and side of face down to the mat. We'll press down through the left to help us unthread the right, reach the right up, and bring it down. Plant the right, Inhale the left up. And exhale, we'll thread the left arm through. Bring shoulder inside of face down. We'll press into the right and unthread the left. Bring the left down and we'll slide the knees in, cross over the ankles and make our way around. So we're seated on the floor. Scoot towards the middle of your mat. And we'll give the legs a little bouncing out in front of us. A little wiggling out. Now we're going to point the toes straight up towards the ceiling, flexing the feet and engaging up the legs so the kneecaps will gently pull up towards the hips. Sit up nice and tall, and we'll take the arms towards the ceiling. We'll bring our attention back to our breath with this pose. Really big breaths in. And really big breaths back out. At the end of each exhale, rechecking that posture to sit us up just a little bit taller. Press the chest a little further forward. And the arms a little more towards the ceiling. Exhale, we'll circle the arms down towards the body. And we'll slide the bottoms of the feet in, engaging through the core. So the ribs and hip bones are getting a little bit closer together. We're pulling in towards center. Arms will go alongside the legs. We'll shift back a little further to find that engagement. And then we will lift the legs up off the floor. We can have our shins parallel to the floor, or we can lengthen all the way out through the legs. But we'll do a little bit more hard before we finish this class. A little more try, a little more work, getting rid of any extra energy. Understanding and knowing that you can do hard things. And after this, we'll rest. We'll relax and we'll soften. We'll lengthen out a little further. And a little further. All the way out until we are flat to the floor. Full body stretch. Arms go back behind and the legs out in front. Now we'll circle the arms the rest of the way down towards the body as we move to our Shavasana. We'll soften the muscles around the face, maybe wiggling the lower jaw side to side to release out some tension. Softening the muscles around the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Allow the shoulders to droop a little further away from the ears. And the feet to fall away from each other. Softening through the whole of the body. And we'll bring our attention back to our breath. Full breaths in through the nose. Fill the abdomen with air. And let the breath go again. Allowing the body to soften at the end of our exhale. Before starting fresh with a new breath. New energy, new day. Only to let go of it again. Letting go of anything we do not need. And for a little while longer, we'll focus on making our exhales twice as long as our inhales, so that we can fully let go, fully release, fully soften before we start fresh again. We'll bring another large breath in through the nose. And let it go as a sigh. Inviting some movement into the body by wiggling the fingers and wiggling the toes. And when you are feeling ready, you can roll to one side. We'll take our moment of gratitude here. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for taking this time out of your day, your week, your month to refocus, to move your body, to breathe deeply, to challenge yourself in a loving, caring way. Give yourself a nice big mental or physical hug. And then when you're ready, you can start making your way to seated. Once there, we'll close the eyes one last time. So we take another large breath in through the nose. And let it go as a collective sigh. Thank you so very much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go in love, go in light, go in peace, and go in joy.